His Excellency has named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is possible.
Canelo Alvarez's reluctance to take on Terence Crawford at super middleweight has stirred up debates, with many believing the Mexican champ might be avoiding the toughest test of his career.
The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turki Alalshikh know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
Once again, Canelo Alvarez has dropped hints about a possible showdown with Terence Crawford, one that could be among the biggest boxing events of 2025. While attending the Ring Magazine Awards in London, Canelo fueled speculation about the fight. Though no official talks have happened yet, his comments suggest the possibility is still there, especially as both camps weigh the financial rewards of such a massive event.
We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose situation for you. Do you think he's too small to compete with you?
No, he's a good fighter. He's very good fighter.
Fans are thrilled by Canelo's willingness to fight Crawford, especially given the big weight gap between them. Canelo, a dominant force at super middleweight and even light heavyweight, competes in a much heavier division than Crawford. On the other hand, Crawford, an undefeated champion across 4 weight classes, usually fights at 147 lbs and recently won at 154 lbs against Israil Madrimov. Despite the size difference, both fighters seem open to making a deal, with strong backing from Saudi officials, especially Turki Alalshikh, who are eager to make this blockbuster fight happen in 2025.
And then we will have the great fights. I don't understand. Give me good offer, and we give you good fight. Good fun. Okay, give it in your way. Obviously, a lot of interest also for him that he doesn't respond with what the English would propose. And this is hard. But what the father is not the and said is respect what he doesn't respect what we are doing in Boston.
With a career packed with high-stakes fights and massive paydays, Canelo sees a potential showdown with Crawford as both a smart business move and a strategic challenge. His interest is driven by ongoing talks and his goal of securing the best possible deal. Speaking in London, he made it clear that it all comes down to the right offer, hinting that despite the obstacles, the fight is still on the table. With Alalshikh's strong influence in Saudi Arabia's booming sports industry, there's no doubt that a massive financial...
He's a smart fighter, and I take everything seriously. But we'll see what happens.
Canelo, I hope you make it happen for us, as we want to see it.
The biggest roadblock to making Canelo versus Crawford a reality is the major gap in their weight classes. Crawford typically fights between 147 and 154 lbs, far below Canelo's usual division at 168 lbs. This puts Crawford in a tough position, as he'd have to move up in weight to take on Canelo at super middleweight. While the fight would generate huge hype and financial rewards, many in the boxing world believe that overcoming this weight difference would be a serious challenge for Crawford, even with his...
I'd fight them both. Like, what are the differences between them?
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. They both hit hard because, and you could see the strength when I was fighting against Crawford. He is very strong as well. So, look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
David Benavidez, the WBC mandatory challenger for Canelo, is a strong contender for a 2025 matchup. However, Canelo's reluctance to fight Benavidez has led some to believe that Crawford might be a more tempting option, especially if the terms are right. The financial aspect is a major factor, and while Canelo has made it clear he expects a massive payday, the timing and logistics remain uncertain. Even with the promise of big money, there's still the question of whether Crawford can truly compete with Canelo in his natural weight class.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy.
Crawford, meanwhile, hasn't been shy about wanting to fight Canelo. After Canelo's dominant victory over Edgar Berlanga, Crawford took to social media to make his intentions loud and clear. He even called out Turki Alalshikh directly, pushing for the fight to be arranged, fueling even more speculation. His bold statements, including his claim that he would beat the brakes off Canelo, have caught the attention of boxing fans who are eager to see if this dream fight will actually.
Yo, Turk, tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes.
Let's
go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
Put me in the game. Just put me in the game. Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight in boxing. But we stay ready, though. We stay ready. That way we don't got to get ready.
Despite Crawford's confidence, many boxing experts and fighters question his chances against Canelo at 168 lbs. Some believe the weight difference is simply too much to overcome, no matter how skilled Crawford is. British promoter Eddie Hearn, who has worked with Canelo before, has expressed doubts that the fight will even take place, especially given Canelo's hesitancy to accept the challenge. Hearn even suggested that if it did happen, Canelo could win fairly easily, as Crawford's smaller frame would put him at a clear disadvantage against a powerful, experienced.
I think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo. But what's his options? I mean, like, you know, if Bivol wins, he could fight him for undisputed. That's a very tough fight. What's the other options? You know, Benavidez is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight, so guess we could see it next.
Many in the boxing world agree that moving up to 168 lbs to fight Canelo would be a huge challenge for Crawford. While no one doubts his technical skills, former world champion Tyson Fury pointed out the major size difference, saying that Crawford's natural weight class could make it tough for him to compete at super middleweight. Fury believes Crawford might have a shot in a lower weight division, but at 168 lbs, Canelo would likely have the clear advantage.
Versus Alvarez, very tough fight, different weight categories, and what weight would this fight happen and who would win? I don't know. Do not know. At 168, I'm going to say Canelo, and 140, I'm going to say Crawford. So,
Bob Santos also thinks taking on Canelo would be a step too far for Crawford. He said, "I think it's asking a lot, but he's earned the right to try. Canelo would be too big and too strong at 168. I could be wrong. Crawford might surprise us, but moving up that much is a huge challenge. That said, this is what makes him great. He's won titles at 135, 140, 147, and now 154, so he's earned the right to take this chance." Meanwhile, Andre Ward isn't ruling Crawford out completely. He acknowledges Crawford's exceptional skills in any weight class, suggesting that his talent could still give him a real shot if he adjusts his strategy and fights with extreme precision. Ward believes Crawford's adaptability and ability to make smart in-fight adjustments set him apart. While he admits the challenge is massive, he still sees Crawford as one of the few fighters who could push Canelo to his limits.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this in the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can.
Still, many believe this fight wouldn't be in Crawford's best interest. Bernard Hopkins has raised concerns about Crawford's well-being if he goes through with it, questioning whether the payday would be worth the physical risks. He pointed out that there are other, safer, and possibly more rewarding fights available for the Nebraska native.
About his life, and with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo fighting Crawford and Crawford beats Canelo. What do they do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic. It makes sense. And less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight. And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
Crawford values his life, Hopkins added. What does this fight really do for Canelo? And if Crawford wins, what's next for Canelo? There are other realistic fights that make more sense and aren't as life-threatening. Even fighting guys in our own weight class is risky.
Masterclass performance.
I love Terence Crawford, and I want him to have what he wants. But off of what I saw tonight and what I saw in Los Angeles last month when Crawford was fighting Madrimov, I am more than ever concerned that he's not big enough. And not big enough to be able to move around the ring and muscle Canelo in the way that he would have to ward off those really vicious inside power shots.
Paulie Malignaggi thinks Crawford should stick to 154 lbs and face fighters like Virgil Ortiz, Sebastian Fundora, and Tim Tszyu. While Crawford isn't the physically strongest fighter in that division, Malignaggi believes his high boxing IQ and skill set allow him to compete with anyone. Still, he warns that at 36, Crawford is in a tough weight class where every fight comes with risks. Crawford's not the strongest at 154, but his IQ is so high he can compete with anyone, just not without risk. He's in a tough division, and he's 36, Malignaggi said. The idea of Crawford facing Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr. On the other hand, Dmitry Bivol, who strongly believes in the importance of weight classes in boxing, shared his thoughts on the potential fight. He recalled that one of the first lessons he learned in the gym was to respect weight divisions. Still, as a fan of Crawford's skill set, Bivol hinted that Crawford might have a chance against Canelo because of his technical brilliance. While he didn't make a Devin Haney has openly backed Crawford if the fight happens. He praised Crawford, calling him the best boxer in the world right now, both inside and outside the ring. I can't go against Crawford. I'm with Crawford. I like him in the ring, out of the ring. I think he's the best right now. I'm rocking with Crawford, Haney said. Meanwhile, when asked about Crawford's chances of handing Canelo his third career loss in 66 fights, Shakur Stevenson admitted it would be a tough challenge. He acknowledged that Canelo's size